Howdy do, how are you? Hey, I got something different here. I got some Millars 8-year-old Irish whiskey special reserve. I meant to do a review on this when I was on the top end of the bottle. When I opened it about a month ago, now I'm on the bottom half of the bottle. Things kept coming up, and I just kept drinking. So, anyways, every time I get ready to do a video, something come up, and I couldn't get one done. So, anyway, better late than never, huh? So let me show you what I got here. I got the Millars here. I got some water and I got some glass. Or got some glass. Got my good glass. So I want to do this how they do it at tasting. So I'm going to pour roughly about half a shot there. Put in my glass. And I learned the very first tasting that I went to, they tell you to swirl it around much like wine. Check the nose. Of course, this is whiskey. It's not beer or wine, so you don't want to put it right up to your nose. You want to keep it about there. Give it a swirl. Check the nose. And then take a little sip. This is a very nice, very sweet, very mellow Irish whiskey. But then they tell you to take a little bit of water. And then those of you that have been to formal tastings know what I'm talking about. Now, I've learned for me, since I've done this before, about the right amount of water is just under a capful. And put it in there. And then do the whole process again. And what I learned the first time doing this is that it actually putting that I'm not talking about mixing 50-50, but just a little bit of water in there with that whiskey will actually open up the nose much more. It will become bigger and brighter. And this little trick works with any whiskey, but the very first tasting I went to was a bourbon tasting, and I did a Scotch tasting and an Irish tasting, but that's how I learned it the first time. Millars. This is the first time I had it, and I wanted to try it because, it's a Cooley product, 8 years old, special reserve, but it's a similar price point as Black Bush or the Jameson Black Barrel. Whatever they call it, select. It all runs about that same price point. So if they had a regular Millars and this Millars, I thought, well, let me try this one since it runs the same price point to see if it's a similar whiskey. Now, what I noticed, there was a lot of similarities between the Black Bush and the Jameson Black Barrel. But this one, no, there's no similarities at all. Actually, it is those two particular whiskeys are more robust versions of their junior counterparts, the regular Bushmills or the regular Jameson. They are much more. They're both much more robust and full bodied. This one isn't. What it is incredibly smooth. It's very sweet. It's very sweet and mellow, which is rather atypical of an Irish whiskey. It's not bourbon sweet. Don't get me wrong, but it is very sweet. You definitely have some big vanilla and toffee notes going on for sure. It's a very nice whiskey. I like it. Actually, I like it a lot. I liked it a lot more than I thought I was going to. I kind of debated. I always go through this process when I'm buying something new. I always want to try the new product, but I worry, is it going to be worth the money? And then I ended up justifying it in the end by saying, well, it's the same price as the Jameson Black, but I've already had that, so let's try this. It was actually about $3 less, but it's all in that same neighborhood. So the nose on this is absolutely beautiful. I'm using my brandy snifter here. Now, I generally drink whiskey neat, but during the summer, I actually drink with some ice. And I'm not talking about mixing, filling up a glass with ice and pouring whiskey in like they do in most bars. What I'm talking about is what I usually do is I take an ounce of water, generally, and I freeze it in the bottom of my glass. and then I'll pour my whiskey over the top of it. And what that does is it gets my whiskey cold, and I get just enough melt off to get some of that water in. So usually by the time I'm done drinking, there's still a good chunk of ice left, but I get just enough water in to kind of mellow it out, and that works for me. And that when it's hot like this, I find it refreshing to cool the whiskey down. But I know a lot of people want to, don't want to throw ice and drink it any way you want. It makes me, no sweat off my balls. I'll take it there right now. This is a beautiful whiskey neat. I've enjoyed it cold as I've been drinking it mostly, but it is beautiful neat. I don't know if you could tell, but I make no face when I drink this. It is that smooth, and again, it's about. It ran about 30 a bottle. Pretty reasonable. I mean, the typical products, the regular version of this, the regular Bush, the regular Jameson, they all run about 20-ish. 20 to 25, depending on where you're shopping. There are other, similar whiskeys. Clontarf runs about that same price point. Um, Powers. Again, I think the Powers 12 runs about the same price, or runs a little bit more than this actually. But this is very interesting. Again, I wanted to try it because I hadn't had it before. I hadn't had any Millars product, so the smart money probably would have been to try the other one. But I wanted to try the 8-year-old to see how it was, and it's just absolutely beautiful. Very easy drinking, certainly worth the money. So far as the beer whisperer is concerned, I'm the whiskey whisperer tonight. It's a definite buy again. So there you go. There we go. I'm glad I got that one in before I got to bottle drink, because I'm getting close, man. I'm getting close, but I've been working on this about, I don't know, about 5 weeks. So there you go. There you go, man. Ah!